Hello and welcome to Something Positive for Positive People. I'm Courtney Brame. Something Positive for Positive People is a 501c3 nonprofit organization supporting people navigating herpes stigma and all other stigmas as well. I look at the intersection of stigma and identity, and I see a lot of the challenges that people face in regards to their psychological, emotional well being. And so much of it is really just what stigma does to a person's identity. Irving Goffman is the author of Stigma, Notes on Spoiled Identity. And one of the things that he says, as far as defining stigma goes, is that stigma is an attribute that makes a person less whole. And I agree with that. And I also have spoken to people since 2017 in regards to what stigma has done to them psychologically, emotionally, behaviorally, even. And overall, the thing that it does is that it fragments, it very much fragments your identity and therefore is dispersing your presence in all these different directions of who you think you need to be. Mentioned I'm in yoga therapy training, and the other day I was in class, and the teacher asked a question. We had an instructor. He was just like, map out your yoga journey. And I think I said this on my last recording, but not on the podcast. And what I realized is that I was very reactive to the external world, forming my own identity off of that. Now, your external world has so many different situational expressions that if you're following that, what you become in one room with one person isn't the same as that same room with another person, a different room with the same person, being outside with a whole different person, around multiple people, around one person in a relationship, in a friendship, right? So that's probably 13 different makeups of identity there. And we can really only hold so many things in mind at once. And when you have to hold yourself in this way around this person, that way around this person, do you see how easy it is to begin to just scatter not just your thoughts, but also your overall identity and your sense of self? So, what I'm aiming to do through Something Positive for Positive People is to live in an existence that is hopefully something that people can look up to. And the way that I model my way of living is based on the atom, the combination of three particles that make up the proton, neutron, electron. And I'm very hyped to have gotten some positive feedback about episode 370, which was about that, like speaking to the spiritual significance of stigma. And what people don't realize is that that was really vulnerable for me. And something that my therapist and I have discussed is vulnerability for real, right? It's been 8 years of me talking about having herpes, interviewing people living with herpes, and this isn't vulnerable for me anymore. You know what is vulnerable? What's vulnerable is sharing my beliefs about what happens after we die, my beliefs about identity, and despite all the censorship, like still making it a point to show up as best I can consistently and staying in some kind of a rhythm to where people can just experience that. So much of my work before has even been dictated by other people, like what this person thinks I should do or says I should do. And I really do believe that it's really about existing, and existing in such a way that maybe it is inspiring to somebody, or maybe it's not. But ultimately, the way that I do my life is hopefully something that just gives you a sense of choice, a sense of choice outside of the spectrum that you have accessible to yourself based on your lived experiences. And in my lived experiences, a lot of what I lived has not been a very conscious life. It just so happened that I've surrounded myself with people who cared about me, people who may have saw more in me, and I had the safety of that. And in the safety of that, I was able to get to a place where I do now realize, oh wow, like this is something that has been going on unconsciously, and now injecting a little bit of presence into it, allows for me to make it something that is much more impactful. Something that I know I've been back and forth about over the years with the podcast is like how I am about charging for things or donations and finances. And something that I just accept about myself is I'm more concerned about impact than I am income. And surprisingly, over the last 8 years, I haven't had a full time job in 8 years. And I've been able to just make it. I teach yoga. I am a yoga therapist in training. I teach medical students how to give genital exams. I'm also a simulated patient, and I run something positive for positive people. These are the things that I do, and this is how I make money. And I was having a conversation with my cousin today. My cousin, he attended the live recording of the yoga class on Tuesday. And I just told him I was in St. Louis. I've been very hesitant and embarrassed really about telling people that I had to move home because I failed at my relationship. And when we talked, he was like, "Oh yeah, let me know when you're back in town." I was like, "All right, bro. I've been here since March, and I didn't want to tell anybody." That kind of thing is vulnerable. That's a vulnerable thing to be able to say I failed at something that I was so absolutely certain about, and I've learned from. And so that's where a lot of how I'm showing up now is as a result of taking that failure and integrating it into my existence. As I've been doing all this atom research, I find that what atoms do when they begin to orbit one another and like cross paths is that they challenge one another's frequency to test for stability, testing stability not just in the other person but also within themselves through the other person. This is just what happens. Like goes to like, and when like gets to like, it's a matter of, are you you? Am I me? Am I, how can I be more stable? What can I learn from you in order to be more stable? Like that's what they do. And I was watching Dragon Ball Super where Jiren and Goku were fighting. It's like the top fight of the Dragon Ball Z uh, anime that's out. And as I was watching it, looking at this language that I've been using lately, that's what I saw. I saw two atoms utilize shell jumping in a conscious way, where the outermost shells things of experimentation. I watched the electrons like warm up, like Goku fighting Jiren. These are two atoms using their electrons on this dimension where we can see. So every punch, every kick, every contact, this is an expression of the electron. Shell two being like the behaviors of it, right? Like the styles of fighting, I guess. I haven't really gotten into all of that, but integrating that, okay, this works, this doesn't work, making the shells jump and excite and get closer to the core to be integrated. This is what stars do. They test for stability and they begin to uh, have the electrons jump closer to the inner shell and then make that part of their identity. And then they do these transformation things, and it is phenomenal. And what's so phenomenal about it is that it's something that's accessible to us as human beings. And we are collections of atoms. So why wouldn't we be able to consciously tap into and utilize this power for ourselves? So I have a workshop that's coming up. It's a webinar, not a workshop. It's a webinar. It's free. I encourage donations. Right now, we got about 35 people registered for it. I'm excited because this is like legitimately my first solo thing that I'm doing. It's on May 23rd, which is Friday. Of Yeah, it is. Oh, that is May 23rd. That's next Friday. And I made the presentation for it, and I'm hyped for it because I don't like making presentations, and I'm also introducing a new framework for talking about whatever it is that you need to disclose to somebody. While the prioritization is herpes disclosure, and I don't even like that word because we're not signing legal documents. We're having a conversation about our sexual health with the intention of moving forward. And so I created this, and I thought it'd be a good idea to go ahead and like use the podcast episode to just talk about some of what we're going to see. Now, I'm not going to give it away, but I will name that um, the the presentation is something that I'm very proud of. It's not my typical black and gray and white presentation like I always do. Um, so yeah, I hope people come. It's at 7 p.m. next Friday. I will record it. So if you register for it and you want access to the recording, you can, or you don't have to donate, and I'll be sure to make sure you get it after the webinar ends. But yeah, I'm going to just talk about the nature of stigma. We're going to talk about this whole not being a confession, but a conversation thing. We're going to speak a lot about identity, and I have some exercises for that as well. And then I'll give people a framework. I know, stars is what it is, but we want to do something different. And people have been asking about it. So it needs to be something that's a little bit different. It's something that I can't say is my own. I do credit Dr. Evelyn Dacker for her work and the inspiration of this. We speak about stigma and the various expressions of it, what it can make you do, what ways people are stigmatized generally, looking at ethnicity, religion, culture, gender, sexuality, family, education, personality, social class, politics, nationality, relationships, career, ability, and health. And I'll disclose what some of my own overlapping ones are that are invisible. We'll go in and out of recording so that we can have some active engagement and discussion as well. We'll do a meditation on rejection to really begin to explore how we can take and feel the emotion of what's underneath rejection so that we can practice doing that on our own, not just in the context of our STI diagnosis, but just also give some reflection questions. What we're going to do is get a formula to dissolve any internalized stigma. And that's really what this framework is. I ain't giving it to y'all. Please register for the event. It's on the events tab of Something Positive for Positive People, spfpp.org/events. I talk about, looking at what green flags there are after you disclose, as well as red flags, and then what these things look like in relationships. And then I introduce the atom. There's a 4-minute video that just speaks to what an atom is, and we connect the dots of that to the atomic makeup of stigma so that we can best understand it and understand the importance of presence and our identity as the solution to the symptoms of stigma. And that's really what I got planned for May 23rd. I really do hope to see people there. But all I got is that this is how I'm living. This is what I'm doing. I'm modeling this way of being in accordance with the atom and what it is that it does, how it operates, and how it experiences itself, and how it also engages with other people or other atoms. And yeah, I'm hyped for this. I really am. And as I've been doing it, I've been seeing things happen for myself. Like some money came out of nowhere, literally. I did some work like in January, and the lady hit me up, was like, "Hey, Courtney, I need your new address. I just got a check for you from January." I was like, "Oh, like great timing." I had another, just like sets of things that have happened for me that just have been convenient bonuses. I'm about to do some traveling, and I've found out that one of my board members just moved to one of the places that I'm traveling to. So I got a place to stay a little bit longer. I get to finally meet her. We get to do some work together. And I'm really just astonished by that. The way that I check in for myself, and this is something that I'm teaching. I'll teach 2 yoga therapy clients, yoga classes, and whenever I'm having a podcast episode, but it's really just how to become more present. And we have this sort of internal presence compass, which is what our purpose is, or what the divine order of whatever we believe in is communicating to us. And we have the power to check into that at any point in time. I looked up the size of electrons versus protons. And mind you, protons are in the nucleus with us, the neutron, and electrons are seemingly infinite. in motion around us, just trying to find place in an orbit. They are seeking stability, but if we don't offer that rhythm of stability, they can't land. They can't stay in orbit. And so, something that I've been actively doing is taking pauses, breathing, and just remembering what my purpose is enough to sync with that cosmic connection that we have between ourselves and consciousness. And I very much value that, because the weight of the proton, the size of it is, I think, 180,000 times the size of an electron. I think that was what the math was. Um, but that goes to show you, like, for us to drift or be taken off course by negativity, there has to be a system of negative experiences and expressions surrounding us, pulling us away from our sense of self awareness, presence, the power of our own positivity. And it's such a beautiful realization, because on that realm of existence, time doesn't have any significance at all whatsoever. It's just a matter of, can you just breathe in order to check in with your center? Can you just have a thought where you just recognize it? And the thing is, the universe, God, whatever you call it, right? Like, I look at religion, and people show up on Sundays and they're saints, but Monday through Saturday, they're assholes. And that's not the kind of existence that I want to have. I want for my existence to really come from this place of service, this place of being, not just I'm showing up, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing the lives, I'm connecting with people, I'm on social media. No, it is my stability of my own proton that makes for me to be able to very smoothly articulate what it is that I'm trying to communicate. And as I continue to navigate this space, I genuinely can say that I'm content. I'm very content. And not content in the sense of just like no action, not doing anything, but I mean content is in just, I'm in a good place. I'm in my office, y'all. I didn't have this a month ago. I didn't have this more than 2 months ago. I'm aligned, and I'm learning, and I'm integrating all of these different things for the sake of testing the stability of my own atom, of my own nucleus, right? How stable am I if an electron can come in and just fucking walk all through my orbits and then tell me who I am? No, no, that ain't it. That ain't it. And so my, I guess right now thing is being able to hold the space. That's what it is. My role is to hold the space, not just virtually, but emotionally, right? When someone has a heavy share, when maybe their identity has been invalidated in the past and they expect that now, maybe because the person who did it maybe looks like me, maybe their voice sounds like mine, maybe they do the same thing that, like, when I do it, it reminds them of what was done to them. Um, yeah, I don't know what that was. I just kind of like lost my thought. So uh I feel compelled to like speak more to atoms, but I also don't want y'all to think that this is just a fucking atom show. So something that I want to share, I will be doing some traveling. I'm gonna go to San Antonio, Texas on Friday. I'll be there for 7 days. And then I go to Austin, Texas for Memorial Day weekend, or I'm just going to be in Houston. We don't know yet until the plans get locked in. And then I'll be in Houston until May 30th. May 30th, I go into Oakland, and I'm going to stay a night out there. Um, And then I'm gonna see my buddy who I've known since seventh grade. We're gonna hang out over the weekend, likely in San Jose. We'll probably be Oakland, San Jose. And then I go to Phoenix. I go to Phoenix for STI Engage. And then I go to the ASEC conference immediately after that. I'll be presenting at Engage. So if you happen to be there or in the area, like hit me up, let me know. And then for the ASEC conference, I imagine I'm just going to be super busy with just trying to see everything I possibly can during my time there. But along the way, I'll still be making space for the support calls. I'll still be making space for the Men's Atomic Purpose group and the Stigma support group as well. I'll be traveling. I'll be traveling. bleh. I will be traveling for 3 weeks, and yeah, I'm gonna still maintain this quality of consistency, even if I have to teach the class, on my phone, like Tuesday nights at 7:30. So 7:30 p.m. is for something positive, for positive people. Okay. So Mondays and Tuesdays. On the first Monday, I have one of the support groups. Which support group is it? Let me find out real quick because uh I don't want to say the wrong thing. Okay, first Monday is just the general stigma support group. The second Monday is the Atomic Purpose Men's group. Third Monday at 7:30 Central Time, like all of these. There's nothing right now. I do envision that if the herpes support group or the stigma support group gets bigger, then excuse me, um, maybe we'll have to do that twice a month. I don't know. We'll see. But on the fourth Monday, it'll be something like this, just a live stream. If people want to involve themselves, engage, ask questions, more than welcome to. But yeah, I'm excited about the opportunity to just present my work in these conferences, to be a part of these communities and networks of so many just people, right? Like the connecting part of all of this has been fascinating to me. Like I love that I understand connection significantly different than I did before I started to navigate this framework. And as I now look at who and what makes its way into my orbit, I just see it as it's testing for my stability. And it's so brilliant to be able to just put it in such simple language. So easy. And so the atom and the way that it behaves, this has become my teacher. It's become my, understanding of my inner world. And I aim to integrate that into my being so that I can implement that and live a life that is one of contentment, one of integrity. Because again, stigma very much fragments and it pulls us into all these different directions, and until we can be present, because that's what negativity does. Negative is just absent. It's an absence. And so it's attracted to the presence of the atom. It's attracted to the presence of the proton and neutron. And all it can do is get into orbit. And this is what life experiences are. When we get in rhythm, everything else falls into orbit. And then we just decide where in orbit does it belong. Does it belong at our belief system? Does it belong in our behaviors? Or does it belong in expressions? And we take what we need, what's useful, make space of it, and then we integrate it. And then we integrate it. But these are for the most part, the things that I wanted to touch on, talk about. I also wanted to test and see if I would be able to upload this as a podcast episode and what that'll look like. Because the one that um, yeah, I lost my train of thought there too. Maybe it's just late. I don't need to be podcasting. But nah, let's see what else is there. I think that's it for now. I feel good about leaving it here. This is a short episode, and again, like I don't know if YouTube um, is really like cracking down or what. But I mean, I'm here. If people want to work with me, people want to talk, please just reach out. Don't hesitate to let me know. I'm Courtney, and this is something positive for positive people. Till next time, stay present.